Gumi was the first Grand Cadi in northern Nigeria. Una know that one me. Let's go back to history. Let me explain how it happened from the very beginning. Time before independence, when these British, the white people, they rule us, they use our emirs and the akalis, the Muslim judge, to rule the north. So this Sharia law system don't already exist that time, but it dey under the control of the emirs. So after the independence, the new constitution then say make they create one big Supreme Court for the Muslim affair for the whole northern state. So this court, now they call the Sharia Court of Appeal. Now, who to head this court? Because this big new court need one Oga Patapata where go rule the rest court under him. That Oga, now they call the Grand Cadi, Sheikh Abubakar Mahmoud Gumi. Now they choose as the first person ever to hold this big position for the whole northern region. That position now make Abubakar Gumi grow power and influence to the point that he had direct access to the president. This man sits in the seat of power with the government where they won't implement law and order before we Nigeria go know. Meanwhile, Nigeria and the followers, they see this man as a preacher, but the political class saw him as a strategical asset. Now, here's the real turning point. Mona Lisa, Abubakar Gumi became the spiritual backbone of a movement that reshaped Islam in northern Nigeria. The movement that later produced Izala movement. Now, not the Izala movement. That Izala movement now be the fight against innovation. There exists same Muslim follow only the Quran and the correct teaching of the prophet. They say more worship God exactly the way the prophet worship God. But no add, make we not remove. So their fight now is against every other thing when concern Islam. Now, let this word sink into your head. This not be just all about religion. That movement now ideology plus structure plus state access. This ideology now the Islamic ideology where be say they will be Islam believe. So that structure now waiting they don't already they plan before we even know ourselves as Nigeria. And the state access now the access will give them the power that everything when Nigeria get, the military, the resources of the land, and the politics of the government. Now why you see say even the Niger Delta oil now the northern are the controller. The military now the northern are the control them. Then the access of the land now then they control. Now why be say there was a time one northern man say every resource where they Nigeria belong to the northern. Now this ideology they give them that power and then they believe. So now why they believe say that them get this Nigeria. And inside this system a boy was growing up. That boy was Abubakar Ahmed Gumi. This boy not just grow up inside mosques alone. No. He grow up in the corridors of power. He saw how rulers think. He saw how government negotiates. He saw how religion ban politics and how politics ban religion. So when you see Gumi today walking into the forest, negotiating with killers, talking to people, the government say they are untouchable. Understand this. It's not experimenting. No. It's applying a system inherited. A system where religion is not just faith. It is influence. It is access. It is negotiation. It is leverage. Now, Nigeria just begin to feel the full weight of that legacy. So in my next video, waiting even the bandit themselves, when they dey loyal to her, don't even know about him. Will now expose who Gumi really is.
So the Boko Haram spokesman Sheikh Gumi has finally reacted to the US airstrike at bandit camp in Sokoto State on 25th December 2025. In reaction to this, Sheikh Gumi said that US does not qualify to strike or fight terrorism. Say that that terrorists can't fight terrorists, that US also themselves are terrorists that has a lot of blood, children, innocent blood, using Gaza and Palestine, as reference, saying that US is the least people to fight terrorists because them themselves are terrorists. He even went ahead to say that the government, like we have enough gallant soldiers to fight bandits, to fight terrorism in Nigeria, that we don't need any foreign interference or any foreign help, that our soldiers are capable. Okay, from there, he even contradicted himself and said that even if we need any foreign help, that Nigeria should seek help from Turkey, China, and Pakistan. And that made me ask questions. How many countries has China helped as regards to fighting terrorism? Has China helped any international country in fighting terrorism? Sheikh Gumi is confused. I know right now this is a very bad day for them, like for bandits and all the bandit sympathizers. He said that the US strike is a fight against Islam. I don't understand. How is a fight against terrorism being a fight against Islam? Please, my Muslim brothers and sisters, please explain to me, because anyway, this is his write-up. This is all he said as regards to US strike at a bandit. We'll still be updating you guys.
What are the reactions? Yes, a lot of Nigerians are saying, yeah, we're in support of this. We must read Islamic and terrorists and all of that, Islamic terrorist groups and all of that. But Sheikh Gumi has also put out a statement this morning saying that it's time for Nigeria to halt the cooperation with the Americans. And I'm asking, for what? Is this what we want? But he put a caveat at the start of his statement by saying, yes, terrorists should be killed, but it should not be done by terrorists. So I'm looking at it should not be done by unholy hands. So I'm wondering, because I had to go, I first saw it being reported on Daily Post, then I had to go to his page on Facebook to be able to see the full statement. Then I'm looking at I'm wondering, I'm like, this is not what we want, the end to the killings and bandits. And you see, I also heard the Al Jazeera reporter saying today that they're trying to distinguish and say, if there was an airstrike, why should it be in Sokoto? That it should be in Maiduguri, that there's a difference between ISWAP and bandits. No. With due respect, they all do the same thing. They all kill, they maim, they destroy. They are all terrorists, like the federal government has said. So if we can get to their hideout and kill them all, that's just it. What we want is in peace, or they surrender. That's just it. So Trump saying that this is the beginning of many more strikes to come. Obviously, yes. I know in the coming days, the next thing will be the collateral damage. Yeah. So those that are against the strike, that's going to be the line. They will push the line of collateral damage. And we've seen this play out too many times. Yes, collateral damage, if they can minimize it, that would be great. But we've seen this play out too many times against Hejreka when he started bombarding, these terrorists. And we saw what is it called? In fact, we have started seeing the first line from the likes of the Gumis of this world. They are going to be seeing some multiple lines. The second line, they are going to push in national sovereignty. But anyway, the Nigerian government has said that they are doing it in partnership with the American government. But you see a lot of those hawks come and push the case of national sovereignty.
All right.
Then you see a lot of these hawks also come and push the propaganda that then they're going to push the the regional propaganda. Oh, they are killing us. Why is it that it's around here that America is doing all of this and all of that? Okay. So you're going to see those reactions in the coming days. But most importantly, we want to end insecurity and want to end this genocide. That's just it.
They are going nowhere. They are part of us and we are part of them. We must live with them. You can't drive them away, and they can't drive us away. They are our neighbors, so we should never allow them to be our enemies. And if by any mistakes, by our actions, we have turned them into enemies, then we are finished. Because our real enemy will use them against us. As your real enemy will use your neighbor against you, and nobody knows your secret more than your neighbor. He knows when you come back and when you go out. So we should never allow herdsmen to be our enemies.
Welcome back to the channel. As usual, Sheikh Gumi has come out to say something again, and this time around, the reports that the US has carried out an airstrike targeting ISIS linked elements in Sokoto, Nigeria, is what he came out to say. Now, at the end of the day, this man, he's not even considerate. He just come out to talk, and a lot of people are tagging him as a spokesman for bandits. He has steadily lost public sympathy because of a clear and disturbing pattern. Whenever bandits are being condemned, he rushes out to defend them. And Nigerians are no longer fooled by the peace advocacy which he labeled. Because when one man consistently explains away mass killings, kidnappings, and village raids, people will naturally conclude that he is not neutral. You cannot claim to stand for peace while repeatedly providing excuses for criminals that terrorize innocent citizens. And what angers Nigerians most is that this man rarely centers victims. A lot of people have been killed, raped, displaced, or even forced to pay ransom. Yet his public interventions is sound more like damage control for bandits than condemnation of their crimes. Each time security forces tighten the noose, he appears in the media warning against provoking bandits, subtly shifting blame from armed criminals to the state and the victims themselves. And that posture is not mediation for me, it's just like moral sabotage. And this behavior is why a lot of Nigerians, they even describe him as bandit spokesperson. Because you don't have to carry a gun to be a spokesperson for these people. Repeatedly amplifying the grievances of terrorists, rationalizing their violence, and pressuring the government to appease them achieves the same outcome. It weakens the state and emboldens criminals. All we have to know here is that what really matters, especially in a country that is bleeding from insecurity. And if Nigeria is serious about fighting terrorism, Sheikh Gumi should be arrested or at least thoroughly investigated, not because of this or his religious background or ethnicity, but because of the kind of content and impact of his actions. Anyone that consistently defends violent groups, undermines security operations, and legitimizes terror under the guise of dialogue must be questioned by law enforcement. Freedom of speech does not include freedom to normalize terrorism. Nigeria cannot defeat banditry while giving megaphones to those that excuse it. Let's look at the case of Nnamdi Kanu. What has this man really done that they had to jail him, put him in Sokoto prison? So if Nnamdi Kanu can be jailed or sentenced to life imprisonment, what is Sheikh Gumi doing? Because his own statements is even worse than what Nnamdi Kanu has said. So why are they sparing him? Well, let me know what you think in the comment section. And if this is the first time joining my channel, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe.
We can speak to Malama Bukati. He's a Nigerian human rights lawyer. He's also a conflict analyst. Thank you for being with us on the programme. Why now? What is it that has provoked this kind of response from the White House?
I mean, President Trump started speaking about Nigeria about 2 months ago, especially promoting the Christian persecution narrative. And he did warn at the time that if the Nigerian government did not take the steps he wanted, then these kinds of strikes might happen. At the time, President Trump indicated that he was going to take a unilateral military action, and we warned at the time that that was going to be counterproductive and may affect or damage Nigeria's relationship with the United States, and urged the U.S. government to work with the Nigerian government in any action it might take. I am happy to see that the U.S. government worked with the Nigerian government, and these strikes took place with the consent and the cooperation of the Nigerian government.
Yeah, there's been an about turn, it seems, in the last week. Quite a significant amount of money pledged to the Nigerian government. Do you think that is linked to what happened overnight?
It may be linked to what happened overnight. Of course, what happened overnight can contribute positively to the security situation in Nigeria if it was backed by credible intelligence, executed with precision, and if it has hit the intended target. These kinds of strikes can help in taking out the leadership, degrading the logistic capacity, and limiting the operational capacity of these kinds of groups. But we will have to wait and see who was targeted, where, and what is the outcome. The Nigerian government and the U.S. government need to be clear because transparency is fundamental in these kinds of situations.
The foreign minister says it's not about religion, it's not about Christmas Day. That's not the message that President Trump has sent out. How will it be perceived within the country, do you think?
For President Trump, it is politics. It is about playing to his base. For Nigerians, this is a real security situation that is killing Nigerian Muslims and Christians and everyone. And any effort that can help towards saving lives in Nigeria will be welcomed by Nigerians. Unfortunately, President Trump's narrative is divisive and is creating further tensions on the ground in Nigeria. But Nigerians see these kinds of effort as an effort to help Nigeria become safer and to help save lives in Nigeria. And in that wise, every Nigerian will welcome it, especially if there have not been civilian casualties. And if the intended target has been hit, Nigerians will be happy and they will be relieved in many parts of Nigeria, especially rural areas affected by these groups.
Can you tell us a bit more about the violence? Because going back almost 10 years now, there's been a lot of violence right across the northern stretch of the country. In the northwest, many Muslims killed, as you say. Has it been spreading to the northwest, sorry?
Yes, so most of the crises in Nigeria, especially the ISIS-backed or allied groups, are primarily in the northeastern part of Nigeria. And that's why many Nigerians were surprised to see Trump saying he attacked ISIS, but in the northwestern part of Nigeria. There is no significant ISIS presence in the northwest, but there are criminal gangs locally called bandits who have killed thousands of Nigerians over the past 10 years and have abducted hundreds of thousands of Nigerians and extorted millions of dollars in ransom. It may be that it is the camps of those bandits that have been targeted, but it could be a new group called the Lakurawa who have moved from the Sahel, the greater Sahel, into Nigeria recently and have established camps in Sokoto State where these strikes took place over the past 18 months that was targeted. In any case, the prayers of every Nigerian is that these strikes succeeded in targeting the actual criminals, not civilians, and that their leadership has been degraded. And hopefully that will give the Nigerian government more time to stabilize the country and reclaim territory. We should understand that airstrikes on their own cannot solve the security situation in Nigeria. This has to be a part of a broader strategy, which must include building local capacity, addressing socio-economic grievances pushing young people to violence, and addressing infrastructural deficit in rural Nigeria.
Yeah, indeed so. Mr. Bukati, really good to talk to you. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you, Christian, for having me.